Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth annual VirtualCon. I can't believe it's been 4 years, Brian. This is a bit crazy. We were talking off the air at how time has just flown, and here we are, number 4. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our welcome address speaker, who is Mr. Brian Shuster, CEO and founder of Otherverse Digital Inc. Mr. Shuster is one of the pioneers of the Internet and is an inventor of dozens of issued and pending international technology patents. He created one of the first and most successful free web hosting companies in history, webjob.com, which he sold to theglobe.com in 1999. After creating several other highly successful Internet ventures, Mr. Shuster founded Otherverse Inc. in 2003 to develop a network of interconnected virtual worlds using a common platform. By 2006, the company was expanded to Canada, where Shuster continued to innovate in the virtual world space, culminating in the release of the Virtual World Web in the fall of 2009. The VWW now boasts more than 60,000 user-generated virtual worlds operating on a uniform platform and the world's first 3D Internet browser. Shuster's pioneering spirit continues as he continues to develop new use cases for the technology. So without further ado, Mr. Shuster, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome everyone to our 4th annual VirtualCon, the world's premier convention for the virtual world industry. Really excited to be here this year. We have such an exciting lineup of speakers and panels and such interesting and engaging sponsors. And I'm particularly happy to be here this year because this is a year where we're going to see some real movement and progress in the area of virtual worlds. You can probably tell by looking over this year's agenda that we've moved a lot into the direction of virtual reality, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But we have so many support industries and a real realization that virtual worlds and this kind of technology are the way that the future is going to be realized. So we're going to have a really interesting convention this year, and I'm really happy about that. Virtual worlds have come a really long way since they were introduced. Worlds.com back in the mid-90s, really when the web was just getting, even before the web was popularized, when I was just discovering the World Wide Web, was out there trying to build virtual worlds. And you can imagine what it was like back in 1995 to try to interact in a virtual world with the kind of computers and the kind of servers and the kind of connections that were available back then. I remember avatars with like 8 points of actuation that walk around like essentially stick figures. And we've come an enormous way since then in the last 25 years, really, developing virtual worlds to the point where there is an awful lot that can be done in existing platforms. But the last few years, I think anybody who objectively is looking at the state of the industry, the last few years hasn't seen a whole lot of interesting developments on these fronts. Okay, hopefully most of you can hear me in any event. It's largely felt like the industry has stagnated, and a big part of that, I know, on our side is that we've been in research and development, largely development mode, for the last 5 years, with an enormous amount of our focus being dedicated on next generation platforms. We've also seen in the last few years a lot of assistance coming from industries that sort of support and surround the game industry and the virtual world industry, like one of our key sponsors and our key game engine moving forward, Unity. So I'm really intrigued and excited to be pioneering sort of this next generation of virtual worlds. And I often get asked what that really means, what virtual worlds beyond just looking better is going to mean. And for next generation virtual worlds, it really requires us to throw out a lot of the limitations and boundaries that exist in current platforms and technologies, and to move forward with revolutionary thinking. And what that means, a lot of problems that have been experienced have dealt sort of surrounding the idea that the technologies were capable of being implemented, technologies like scripting and user-generated animations and user-generated textures and avatars, but these things were able to be brought into a virtual world and accessible worldwide. That potentially results in real problems like inappropriate content. You have a world and you want the world to be, let's say, a realistic world. We're doing a convention. We want to have humans in the convention. Well, if the world enables avatars that are non-human, dragons and alligator, dinosaur kind of avatars, those can be disruptive for real world. Similarly, if you want to have a dinosaur world or you want to have a fantasy world, it can be very disruptive to have photorealistic humans. So an enormous amount of energy and effort, on our part at least, has been directed towards distinguishing boundaries and permission systems that will empower and enable world masters to be able to create real distinctions and true virtual worlds that are not only interconnected, because that's an enormous feature of a system, to be able to send traffic back and forth, to be able to seamlessly move from, I go and take a class at a university, and then I want to relax. I just want to one click over and have my avatar transform from my human avatar into my game avatar in this role-playing game that I'm in. Or, I want to be able to turn into a sexy, I want to put on my sexy clothes and head out to a nightclub. And so to be able to click around, but still to be able to have boundary limitations where things transform at boundary layers, and different permission systems that prevent you from entering, let's say, a mosque in inappropriate, lingerie. With those kind of boundaries and permissions that can apply to scripts and can apply to textures and can apply to avatars, we can see a real evolution of virtual worlds into a next generation kind of system. And it enables you as the developers and designers and entrepreneur industry leaders to have your suite of choices for what you want to do with a virtual world, whether you want to make that a photorealistic 3D full immersion virtual world, or whether you want to make it a completely flat, two-dimensional cartoon virtual world. The ability to add in different kinds of avatars and even have those avatars in sort of a marketplace where user popularity can result in worlds sharing avatars or not sharing avatars. So what I'm trying to say here is we have a system of archetype avatars where worlds can easily decide, or will be able easily to decide, to share these avatars if they want a user who has created and customized an avatar in their world or in a similar world to be able to seamlessly click over to their world. That allows this kind of flexibility of creativity and flexibility of development of worlds from an easy kind of marketplace. This is the kind of thing that will move virtual worlds forward to really a next level, where we're not stuck in the same old thinking that everybody needs to look like a person and that the worlds need to look like the real world. Really neat to be able to have, amoeba avatars on a microscopic scale, or space avatars out in exploring the galaxy, but to be able to get there with one click from essentially a search engine or a directory kind of mall. These kinds of things have application, and I think we're going to see in the next, really in the next year, we're going to start to see the developments here, and it's going to explode moving forward in really neat ways for all kinds of interesting, neat, new experiences. One of the areas that we're really excited about is this idea of creating machinima animations and to create really actual films within the virtual world system. So as you imagine the graphics capabilities, which is the most obvious thing that happens when a system moves to a next generation graphics engine, you're going to see much more detailed resolution in your capabilities for textures and avatars. That allows the film industry at a bare minimum to start doing things like storyboards, but it also allows for actual filming to be done. This is going to require a whole suite of support people and cottage industry doing landscaping, doing deco, designing costumes and designing outfits and clothing in general, designing avatars and really backgrounds, and all of these tools we've spent a lot of time really building for our next generation. So although they don't all come out at the time where we launch, over the next 12 and 18 months, all of these tools are going to be implemented, refined, and improved. And really, one of the wonderful things that I have to say about being here today and looking out on the crowd and just having been involved with the community here in Otherverse for so long is that it's really nice for us to be able to open this up and to allow the existing community of such talented people to be able to move in and to start to develop for the platform. That's really a wonderful, let's say, a wonderful starting point to be able to get a system up to full speed very quickly. So, I'm excited to see what is going to be produced in terms of video shorts and machinima, but ultimately we're going to see films being produced which are going to generate a whole new kind of entertainment. And that kind of leads me into what that next generation of entertainment is really going to look like and how it's going to be realized. And one of the key points about this convention and why I'm so enthusiastic, not just as a result of our next generation software being so close to being released, but the next generation of technology in general is about to be released. And that's, again, one of the major themes that you're going to see at this convention. We've already had a wonderful discussion about this earlier, and that is virtual reality. And the coming age of virtual reality finally really materializing. So virtual reality has been an awful lot of, has had an awful lot of false starts. Even in the 80s, it was touted as this is, the next big thing, and it's going to be ready imminently. And we started to see headsets coming out. And of course, those headsets have problems, and they've continued to have problems, and it's gotten to the point where people almost don't believe that virtual reality can happen. But I've been in a very fortunate position over the last year, of course, being the CEO of a major virtual world company. I've been privy to an awful lot of demonstrations and been able to purchase an awful lot of hardware. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, this stuff is coming, and it is amazing. You will have to, I mean, really, everybody's got to try it. But I've had the opportunity to play some games. I've had the opportunity to use some technology. The headsets are there. I mean, it will be nice when the resolution is a little better and when the field of view is a little better. But honestly, it is sufficiently good right now for me to say it's utterly mind-blowing. And beyond the headsets, the headsets are going to be released next year. I have virtual certainty that by the holiday season next year, we're going to see a mass market release of headsets. And the hype that is going to surround that, as you start to see the late night talk show hosts all wearing headsets for their audience, and this hype cycle is going to be a hype cycle unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's going to blow the internet away. It's going to blow Facebook away. The hype cycle for Facebook. It is going to be like a tidal wave. They won't be able to keep them on the shelves. We, of course, have been designing for this for quite a while. So Curio and Virtual World Web completely compatible with virtual reality and total immersion. But there are some other really interesting developments in virtual reality that are going to make this technology spectacular. I've seen recently, just had demoed to me a couple of things which track one's entire body, hands, fingers, feet, head, and put them into the virtual world in a way where you can actually use them. So I was recently at the Unite convention, and I had the opportunity to demo Leap Motion technology, which we're integrating right now and going to be compatible with, which for $85 US puts your hands and fingers into the world. Now you can imagine what this means for things like prop editing, where you can grab a prop and just drag it, just lift it, pull it, drop it, and it's in place. You can grab a prop out of a menu and prop edit. Or even better, or different, you can reach out and touch somebody or shake their hand or hand them something. And these kind of interactions, really mind-blowing. I saw another technology recently which is called SixSense. And SixSense is also a full body controller. Of course, we're going to need to update, and in conjunction with Unity, we need to update so that we can actually translate these things onto your avatar properly for things like real-time animation, so that if you want to dance, you're not playing animations for dancing, you can actually use your body to dance. That's not quite there yet, but it's very, very close. And with SixSense, you put on a little headband and you grab some controllers. I played a spectacular game. Anna saw me, and unfortunately didn't get it on video, but somebody might have. That video might end up going viral of me playing a lightsaber game. But so much fun. I mean, geez, you're just immersed in the game, and it tracks your body in motion. These kinds of technologies, as we integrate them into virtual worlds, and you get to start integrating them into your builds and your worlds and your spaces and businesses, this is a whole new. It's really a new frontier. And the beauty is, I'm not just hearing about these things secondhand. I've actually been demonstrating them, and it's what I was hoping it would be for consumer release. So that's really neat. The last tech that I'll discuss that I had a chance to demonstrate is a little less sort of on the fun side, a little more on the practical side, and that's a camera rig setup, which in conjunction with software, and we need to build a little bit of software for this as well. You can drop this camera rig setup into a room and take a photo, and it stitches it together and turns it into a virtual environment for you. So here we start to look forward to what are other practical implications for virtual reality and for virtual worlds beyond just what we've been doing. And one of those implications, we started it a few years ago with other interiors, but you can imagine now, you take this camera rig setup either as a realtor or you just have somebody come out and do this with your home. Bam, 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 bam. In 15 minutes, your home interior is turned into virtual reality. And actually, in many instances, it can recognize the props. It can recognize your actual furniture and turn those into props. That's a revolution for VR. It's a revolution for the real estate industry. Now, you imagine a realtor has a virtual reality headset in their office, and all of their properties have been digitized. You can come in, and in half an hour, you could visit 30 open houses and decide which ones you want to see. You can reach out with your Leap Motion, and you can grab the furniture and move it around. This is stuff which is really the stuff of science fiction, and I think by now you can start to understand why I'm really so excited about what's coming, and why I say the last few years have felt a little stagnant, certainly compared to what the next few years have in store. So whole new experiences in terms of entertainment as this technology gets adopted, and hopefully our platform largely facilitates this, being able to view sporting events, being able to go to concerts, and have these things fully immersive where you can navigate around, you can be there with your friends, you can interact in a very human kind of way. new forms of movies that can come out where you can actually move into the movie and move around the set. Maybe there's multiple, like in the real world, the characters all have a full set of things that they're doing, and you can follow the action around the movie. Imagine seeing Star Wars from a bunch of different angles, not just the scenes from different angles, but following different characters as they're doing things while other characters are doing things that you already know that they do. That allows us for other things like all kinds of new live plays and performances, and existing things like Broadway plays, live action. I'm really looking forward to seeing what users can come up with for that. Shopping, where you can try on clothes, and you've got the clothes, anything you've ever bought in your closet, and your avatar fits clothing like your real body. Where you can grab and hold objects, and you can examine, even flip pages of a book, for example, or bring objects to your virtual home, which is your real home, and see how they fit and easily move them around. These are all things that are on the brink of coming, and I'm pleased that we can have a convention like this and bring a bunch of like-minded people together that can share this vision and can facilitate through this kind of interaction. The expression "eating your own dog food." We produce. That's not the most glorious expression, but we produce a virtual world, and we hold a convention for virtual worlds in the virtual world, and it does the things that we've been saying it would do. It brings people from all over the world together, and so we use our own software. We're evangelists of our own platform, and everybody here is sharing in that experience and sharing in that hopeful future, and I really feel like it's around the corner, and I'm very pleased and proud to be part of the group that's facilitating that. And this convention in particular has some really spectacular speakers and hosts. I'm very excited for Caitlin Meeks, who is the Unity Asset Store Manager, who's giving our keynote speech. And we've got a wonderful panel that's being moderated by Carl Krantz. That's today at 2 o'clock, which is the future of virtual reality. So we'll get into a little bit more depth at some of the items that I've been discussing here today. Companies that are included in this year's speakers list, some of the most interesting and engaging new technology companies: Mateo, True Player Gear, Total Cinema 360, Rumini, virtual reality cinema, Unity, of course, our next generation engine, RainCloud, GameFace Labs, Escape Entertainment, VRcade, Altergaze, Relia, Vervana. And I really want to point out, if you've ever come to one of these conventions before, you know the award show on the final day of the convention is really a must-attend event. Lots of fun, and of course the awards go to the people whom you choose. So don't forget, please vote for your favorites so that we can have a wonderful award show. And thank you for everybody who's participated in the chat here. It's always it's always interesting and entertaining to read, and a little bit distracting while I'm talking, but I do enjoy it, and adds a whole other dimension to what we do here. And thanks, Anna, for the wonderful introduction and for all of your work in putting this convention together for everybody. So thank you, everyone. Really have a wonderful time, and let's make this another successful year.
Thank you, Brian. Another successful year, and we have, like I said in the beginning, been at this for 4 years already, so monumentous occasion. Also a little bittersweet, Brian, because this is the last year that we're doing VirtualCon on this platform. So hopefully next year we will be on the new platform, Curio, and the Virtual World Web with the next VirtualCon. So that's a lot of exciting stuff looking ahead. We've got a great lineup for everybody. 1 p.m. in the studio hall, we do have Ed Mason from Game Face Labs doing a presentation, so you're going to want to make sure you get over there and check that out. Don't forget as well to check out all of the halls in the convention. The voting for the awards is audience choice, so it's all up to you to decide who gets the prize at the end of the day. Also, in this lecture theater at 2 p.m. we have The Future of VR. It's a panel presentation, and we've got quite a lineup of some of the latest, greatest, and most popular VR hardware coming to speak. And it's going to be moderated by Carl Krantz, as Brian had said. So you make sure you definitely don't want to miss that. So we've got a full lineup. Be sure to go to virtualworldconvention.com, check out the full schedule. Also, if you're in the theater here or in the convention floor, we've got plenty of schedules all over the place. Thanks again, Brian, for opening up the convention for us, and we will see you at the Mastermind event tomorrow.